Good morning. Welcome to Ramblings with Joe. Sitting here at the dining room table, and I'm reading a article about Musk. Looks like he has pumped the brakes, is what the article is reading, on the ability or on his intention to start a third party. It's disappointing that he's not going to. There are many third parties. I guess using the word third is probably the wrong way to talk about these parties, but there are many third parties. For a while, I was a member of the Libertarian Party. They failed us, is what they did. They dropped their integrity and picked up the mantle of political party. And I left the party because I'm not going to be a participant in anything that is the status quo. The Republicrats are not doing the right thing. Republicrats are doing the wrong thing almost at every turn. I'm not saying that Trump is doing everything wrong. I think that he has done some good. I think that he has done the most good by highlighting how corrupt our government has become and how much waste there is within our government. And the Democrats have done just as much toward that end by demonstrating how willing they are for the spending of funds we don't have. They fight the Republicans at every turn to stop them from cutting the budget. Instead, if they wanted to increase, they're falling apart, but if they wanted to increase their following, what they should do is say, no, don't cut there, cut here. Instead, they just don't want to cut anywhere. They act like we're not in a financial crisis. At any rate, after Trump started pushing his big, beautiful bill, that the Republicans kind of lost my support completely at that point because they're just spending more money than we have. They're just carrying on status quo. Enjoying my coffee a lot this morning. Back to the Musk situation in the America Party. So he's pumping the brakes because he doesn't want to alienate J.D. Vance, which I don't really care about J.D. Vance. I haven't really formed an opinion about J.D. Vance. Vice presidents really don't have a significant role unless there's a split vote in the Senate, at which point they become crucial. I forget, it might have been Truman. I'm not sure which president it was, but he said, let's find out. Ulysses S. Grant purchased 3 crystal chandeliers for the East Room of the White House in 1873. Theodore Roosevelt later banished them in 1902, reputedly because the tinkling of the crystals kept him awake. He supposedly then decreed, send them to the Capitol to keep the vice president awake. It's an important role, I get it. But really the vice president's kind of on standby just in case something happens to the president. It's always, I think it was my history teacher that told me that the first time I heard that particular quote. And I don't hear it very often, but it was kind of indicative at the time of my life when I was learning about history. It was indicative of the uselessness of a vice president. Now, I believe back in those days that the vice president was from the opposing party, that the president won the popular vote or the electoral vote, and the second place became the vice president, which was almost always the Democrat nominee or the Republican nominee. Whichever one didn't win became the vice president. They changed that. I'm not sure if I agree with the change or not. I definitely think that it has lowered the chances of a political assassination. I mean, if one party is in control of the White House and the other party is the vice president, well, you can see where that's going. At any rate, I haven't formed an opinion about Vance. I just really haven't had a chance to look into his political leanings. And let me go back to Elon Musk. It's disappointing that he has decided not to do the America Party. I think that we need a shakeup with the political system in America, and I think that would have been a great way to do it. I was talking to the wife it might have been a week ago, and I told her I think that if he would just not register as a political party, and we just got a couple write-in candidates into Congress, that would shake things up. If we got a couple, two or three, we could hold sway over both parties at that point. But it's obviously not going to happen. It's disappointing. He doesn't want to alienate J.D. Vance because he thinks maybe J.D. Vance is going to be the next president in 4 years. Who knows? Way above my political head. It is disappointing, though. The Democratic Party just seems to keep kicking itself in the butt. I have often said that I think they are destroying themselves from the inside. I am not anti-LGB, whatever the initials are now. I am not. I just don't care. I don't think the government has a place in that arena. If you want to be gay, go be gay. As long as you're not hurting anybody or crossing anybody's rights, I don't care. You want to go marry a guy, but don't bring the government into it. I don't think the government should be involved in marriage. I've talked about that. Your insistence that everyone accept your values, and if you don't accept those values, then you're a bad person. Your insistence on that front is destroying your party. Give people the freedom to decide and distinguish their own morals. Nobody should have extra rights, whether you're a white male or a transvestite. I don't know if that's the proper term anymore. I don't care. Or if you're gay, you don't get special rights. Everybody should have the same rights. That's the idea behind the Constitution. I do not care. Be who you want to be, and if I don't like who you are, I have that right. It's that simple. Now, I'm not saying I don't like these people that I listed. I don't care. If you're a good person and you're not hurting anybody, woohoo, carry on. Wow, this really is rambling with Joe this morning. The Democratic Party is really hurting themselves more than they're aware of. And they continue to lose support. People don't want to hear what's going on in other people's bedrooms. We just don't care. It's that simple. Just every decision that a politician makes should be ran through the filter of freedom. Period. I was talking to a buddy at work yesterday, and we talked about property tax. And I said, yeah, I don't believe that property tax is constitutional. And then when I got home, I was reading that Trump is trying to buy, to become partial owner of Intel, so that his excuse is national security. We don't have the ability to keep up with it. No, that's we don't need state-owned private businesses. That's communism. That's not freedom in capitalism. It's cronyism is what it is. Too big to fail. Now what happens if Intel fails? Not only is it too big to fail, but is the government involvement in it going to keep it from failing and give it an unfair advantage with the competitors that might be up and coming in the country? The problem isn't Intel is not keeping up with the overseas competition. The problem is overseas has an unfair advantage, and that is slave labor, whether it's low wages or flat out slavery. Stop it. If a country is legitimately better at making things than we are, they should be allowed to make them. We should not support anybody who is participating in slave labor. Full stop. I have said it over and over and over again. We had slave ships a long time ago. We still have them. The difference is slave ships of the past used to carry people, slaves. Today, the slave ships are container vessels. They are shipping the products of slavery because we now have the technology to make these ships so huge. I know. You want your product. Meh. It's not a hard thing to see. It's really not. These huge ships that are coming from China, the reason that they are so big and we have so much stuff coming from China is because the companies don't want to pay a fair wage to the Americans who can do the same job. Get your government nose out of private business. This started off as a thought about property tax, and it ended up back on overseas slavery. Let's not compete with communism by becoming communists. Let's compete with communism by embracing more freedoms, not less. Keep the government out of private business. You want to negotiate treaties, trade treaties with other countries? Make it fair. We have imposed upon Americans a minimum wage. If you're going to have American minimum wage and we're going to do business with, let's say, China, then the businesses that we interact with in China should have the same limit, minimum wage. And that's not to say that I'm anti-minimum wage. I don't know. That's a very complex subject. Looked at the wife has talked to me. She's done a lot deeper dive into this than I did. I kind of nudged her in the direction, and she took off running, and she did a lot of research. I think it's the Mises Institute has come out with a few articles talking about minimum wage and how it kind of stops productivity in America. Not because companies want to pay people less. It's because they can't hire people because they can't afford to pay the minimum wage. So the people that might be able to make a little bit of money can't make any. That's a really simplified explanation, but you get the point. What was I talking about? It's good coffee. That's what I was talking about. Oh, I wonder what the weather's going to be today. Let's find out together.
Thunderstorms are expected today.
No surprise there. Life goes on. I'm going to go out and I'm going to have a fantastic Thursday. I really am. I'm looking forward to today. I got a good night's sleep. These are becoming the exception. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because my loving wife made me a chai latte last night. Now there's no caffeine in this latte. There's nothing that would keep me awake, and it has warm milk in it and pepper, which I didn't think that I would like pepper in a tea, but this is really delicious tea, and it's quite a treat when she makes it for me. And I know that you can't say that just because I drank that, but it has happened over and over again, and it really, really helps me sleep. I need more chai latte in my life. Thursday, thunderstorms. I hope that you guys all have a wonderful Thursday. We're sneaking up on the weekend, as I am fond of saying. And I'm taking this weekend off. I'm going to smoke a cigar. I might drink a Guinness. I haven't decided yet, but I might drink a Guinness or two. I used to drink light beer. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be wrapping up. It's Thursday. I hope you guys all have a fantastic Thursday. I hope that you stay dry, and I hope you don't sweat too much, but I hope you sweat a little bit. I hope you find peace, love, and dream. Until next time, lahi throat. Traut.